So we have 2.3 functions, and I'm going to start with what is a function. And sometimes people have a hard time understanding what a function is, and so I'm going to describe what a function is, comparing it to a vending machine. So you know a vending machine, you put some money in, you push some buttons, and then some popper chips falls out, okay? Um, when you push the button, we're going to call that your input. You put that into the machine. And then when something comes out, like a Kit Kat, Mars bar, or M&Ms, that's your output, okay? So functions are just like that. You push the buttons and one thing comes out. That's what a function looks like, okay? So here, if I look at this, your input, say you push D3, then pretzels come out. If you push D4, pretzels come out. And if you push C2, chips come out. And this is a function because you have pretzels on a shelf, you have pretzels on a shelf, and you have chips. So if you push D3, pretzels come out. If you push D4, pretzels come out. And if you push C2, pretzels come out. Okay? So what a function is if you push a button, only one thing comes out. One. Okay? So here, they're both pointing to pretzels, but that's okay. It's because we have two shelves that have pretzels on it, so you can pick this pretzels or this pretzels, but they're usually just the same, but it's okay. All right, so that's a function. But if I look at this one over here, I push D4, pretzels come out. But if I push C2, chips come out and a water bottle comes out. Two things come out. So you can cover up the output and go, look, if I push C2, two things come out. So that's not a function. And you can think of it as the vending machine is broken because the person who owns the vending machine is going to lose money if every time you push C2, two things come out. Okay? So whenever you have more than one thing coming out of the vending machine when you push the button, that's not a function. Okay? Also, if you push the button, say it's E4, but nothing comes out. So you put your money in, you push the button, no food comes out. That's a problem. It means the vending machine is broken. That means it's not a function. Okay? We'll do lots more examples. So we have relations and functions. And what I want you to write above relations is like no rules. Relations are just any relationship with X and Y. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just any relationship. So you can represent relations and functions 5 ways. You can do it more than 5 ways, but we're really only going to talk about it 5 ways in this class. So you can have ordered pairs, and we call them a set of ordered pairs when they have curly brackets around them. Okay? This just means a group of ordered pairs. You can represent relations with an equation. You can represent it with a mapping when we have, if you put in a 2 and a 6 comes out, put in a 5, a 15 comes out, okay? You can also represent it with a table of values. Sometimes we just call it a table, but it's really a table of values. Or you can have a graph. Now, if you look at your mapping and your table of values, they're kind of the same thing, easily seen. So let's look at this. This is 2, 6, 2, 6. 5:15, 5:15, 10:30, 10:30. So if you want to write something that's a mapping and change it into a table of values, the first circle, the domain or the X values, go into the X column. And the second one goes into the second column because this is the range, this is the Y values. Okay? But functions has a rule. This one says no rules. A function is when you have a relationship with X and Y, but for every X coordinate, say here's my X coordinate, there's exactly one y coordinate. So here, if I put in 1, 3 comes out. If I put in 2, 4 comes out. If I put in 3, 5 comes out. Only one thing comes out, just like a vending machine. Up here, I push C2, 2 things comes out. So this is not a function because more than one thing comes out. Or, well, not one thing comes out, okay? So, and we can have functions, just like a relation, represented by orders of pairs, a set of ordered pairs, by equations, by table of values, by mappings, and by graphs. Same thing, okay? So this is important right up here, these things. And I'm going to sort of read them because I want you to come back to them if you forget. So if I give you a question that says, is it a function or not a function? This is what you have to remember what to do. So when you're determining if you have a function from a table or mapping, so here's a mapping, okay, only look at the inputs, focus on the inputs. And if you see an input with 2 or more outputs, it's not a function. So what does that mean? It means if you push A2 on the vending machine and only one item comes out, it's a function. If you push A2 on the vending machine and more than one item comes out or no items come out, it's not a function. So let's look at this example. And we say, is it a function? What you need to do is, this is the input, this is the output. Cover up the output, because it gets confusing if you look at the output. If you push 1 in the vending machine, one thing comes out. If you push 2 on the vending machine, one thing comes out. If you push 3, one thing comes out. If you push 4, one thing comes out. So then I can say, yes, this is a function. Now if I go over here and I say, is this a function? I cover up the outputs because I'm only going to focus on the inputs. If I push a 1, one thing comes out. If I push the 9, 2 things come out. That's a problem. That means the vending machine is broken. So I push a 9 and pop comes out and chips come out. That's a problem for the person that owns the vending machine. So that means this is not a function because the 9 has 2 outputs. Okay, so if I look at this example here, it looks confusing because they're both pointing to 4. But remember, cover up the output, don't look at the outputs, and say, okay, if I push 0 on the vending machine, one thing comes out. If I push 1, one thing comes out. If I push 2, one thing comes out. And if I push -2, one thing comes out. So yes, it's a function. It's okay that they're pushing, that 4 comes out when I push these buttons, okay? But don't look at that because it gets confusing. Okay, let's look at the next one here. Is this a function? It's confusing. Look, these are both pointing to 4 and this. So don't look at the output. Just go. If I push the 1, one thing comes out. If I push the 2, one thing comes out. If I push the 3, 2 things comes out. That's a problem. So I push the 3 on the vending machine and pop and chips come out. 2 things. So that's not a function. Let's look at this one down here. Whoa, they're all pointing to the 5. And these don't even have anything pointing to it. Okay, let's look. Cover up the outputs. If I push X on the vending machine, one thing comes out. I push Y, one thing comes out. I push U, one thing comes out. Push V, one thing comes out. I don't know what letter it is. L, one thing comes out. So yes, it's a function. And I was like, but they're all pointing to one thing and these aren't used. Hollywood, it's okay. It just means the vending machine is full of 5s on the shelf. Maybe that's Kit Kats. The whole vending machine, doesn't matter what shelf it is, only has Kit Kats. And so you push X, a Kit Kat comes out, you push this, and this comes out. And so the whole vending machine is full of the same thing. And it's okay if these are not used. So let's look at this one. Is this a function? I push A, one thing comes out. I push B, one thing comes out. I push C, nothing comes out. So I push the buttons on the vending machine, but my Kit Kat does not come out of the vending machine. That's a problem. That means the vending machine is broken and it's not a function. Okay, it's not a function because this input does not have an output, because you have to have one output for every input. Okay, so that's not a function. They're all pointing to the same thing. Don't think about it. Just cover up the output and say, oh, if I push 1, one thing comes out. Push 2, one thing comes out. I push 3, one thing comes out. So yes, it's a function. It's okay if every shelf in the vending machine only has, I don't know, Snickers. Oh, push 1, Snickers comes out. Push 2, Snickers comes out. Push 3, Snickers comes out. The vending machine only has Snickers. It's fine. Okay, let's look at the last one here. Oh, that looks weird. I'm confused. But it's okay. Cover up the output. If I push 3 on the vending machine, 4 things come out. That's a problem. It means the vending machine is broken. Maybe I'll have a happy day because I'll get a Kit Kat, a Snickers, Mars bars, and a bottle of water. So that's a good thing for me, but it means the vending machine is broken, so it means it's not a function. Okay? So now it says determine if the set is a function or not a function. So sometimes we can just have like a set of ordered pairs and we have to go, is it a function? And it's hard to see if it's a function when it's a set. So some people like to draw it as a mapping. So see, this is the X value, this is the Y value. So this one goes here, this one goes here. So that's the ordered pair there. Here's my ordered pair. Here's my ordered pair. And then I can see I cover this up and I go, I push 1, one thing comes out. I push -2, one thing comes out. 3, one thing comes out. So I say, yes, that's a function because every input has one output. It's okay if they're the same. Same for this one. Oh, here's 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. Right away, I can see this is not a function. If I push 1, I'm going to get a Kit Kat, a Mars bar, and a bottle of water. 3 things. If I push 1, I'm going to get this, this, and this. That means it's not a function because this input has 3 outputs. Now, some people don't need to make it as a mapping. They can just sort of look at the ordered pairs and go, oh, if I push -2, I'm going to get a 1 and a 0. So in my head, I go like this. If I push -2, I'm going to get a 1 and I'm going to get a 0. So that means no, this is not a function because I have 2 things coming out of the vending machine. Okay, now let's do some examples. What is a function? So we have to figure out which ones are functions or not. So I'm going to cover up the output. This has one output, one output, one output, one output, one output. So yes, it's a function. It's okay if they cross here. Don't worry about that. Okay. Now a table of values are the same as a mapping. So if I push a 3, a 1 comes out. If I push a 4, a 7 comes out. If I push a 5, a 10 comes out. Oh, if I push a 4, I can cancel this and go like this. If I push a 4, a 7 comes out and a 14. See how it's repeated? So if I push a 4, two things come out. Let me put this in pink. If I push a 4, two things come out, which means no, it's not a function. Let's look at this one. They both point to the y. I get a little confused and I just go, oh, don't look at that. I push A, one thing comes out. B, one thing comes out. C, one thing, one thing. That means yes, it's a function. Okay, table of values again. See how there was two 4s here? I'm going to check and see if there's a repeat. There's no repeats. Okay, so this, one comes out, one comes out, one comes out. So yes, it's a function because every input has one output. Let's look at this mapping. It looks confusing, so I'm going to cover up. Look at this 2. If I push 2 on the vending machine, pop comes out and chips. So no, it's not a function because this input has two outputs. Okay. Does this have repeats? No. So if I push 0, 2 comes out. I push 3, 4 comes out. -2. Yeah, it's a function because every time I put one thing in the input, one output comes out. Let's cover it up. Ooh, I can see the 5. If I push 5 on the vending machine, pop and chips comes out. Two things comes out, which means the vending machine is broken. So no, it's not a function because this input has two outputs. Let's look at this one. Cover it up. I can see if I push -2 on the vending machine, two things come out. Pop and chips. So no, this is not a function because I pushed the -2 and two things come out of the vending machine. Let's look at this one. They're both pointing to this, so I'm getting confused. So cover it. I push 1, one thing comes out. Push -2, one thing comes out. I push 3, one thing comes out. It's okay. So yes, it's a function. It's okay that they're both pointing to this. Just cover it up. Okay.